ever been called selfish, you know the feeling it gives you. That rush through your body, you overanalyze yourself and you feel like a terrible person. We've been raised to think being selfish is not a good thing and that you should always put other people before yourself, and it's just simply not true. If you want to live a happy and fulfilled life for yourself, you ultimately need to embody some selfish traits. Literally as simple as creating healthy boundaries with others, showing up for yourself, looking after your own needs, and ultimately prioritizing your own well-being. We all need to recognize that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you're not looking after number one, how on earth can you show up well for the people around you that you love? So today we're going to be flipping the narrative that being selfish is a bad thing on its head, and we're going to focus on ways that you can be more selfish for a happier you starting now. The first one is a little kind of secret in a way because it's something I've started doing. Of course, I don't tell people that I do this, so I'm literally spilling the tea straight away, but it's something I've started doing, and when you start doing this, it's extremely interesting. It's a little social experiment. It'll be very, very intriguing for you to see the reactions of the people around you. And I'm about to say all these things coming from someone who is a recovering people pleaser. I have spent my entire life trying to please others and worrying so much about what other people think of me to my own detriment. So number one is going to be start mirroring other people's behavior. And what I mean by this is effectively giving what you receive back from people. This is not a tit for tat. This is not a weighing up how much someone does in a week for you and you give the same back. This is an overall vibe of how you feel in that friendship. If it's very much one-sided and you really feel the weight of that, the moment you start mirroring the behavior and just not replying as much, not being the one to make all the plans all the time, it will really start being quite obvious to you who in your life is making effort and who is not. And let me give you a little example, and I hate to say all these things out loud on the internet because I'm talking about people in my life. A good example of mirroring behavior that really opened my eyes, made me feel uncomfortable at first because it wasn't in my nature to normally be like this, was a friend I had who would be constantly texting me all the time. And then after a few months, it got a little bit quiet. That was fine. I know people are busy. We all have lives. But I would still prioritize her. So as soon as the name popped up, I would reply quickly. And that's how I felt to communicate with her until it got to a point where I just felt like it was very one-sided. So I decided to take a step back and mirror the behavior. This wasn't being petty and thinking, well, she hasn't replied for 2 weeks, I'm not going to reply for 2 weeks. Just leaving it a period of time where I felt comfortable to reply, kind of loosening the connection, if you like, and not feeling this pull towards that person anymore. So it was very much for my own benefit. As soon as I started doing this, I would get double texts, another text if I hadn't replied, and as soon as I replied again, it would then be another prolonged period of no reply, but then I would get chased if I hadn't replied. So effectively, if I then did reply, I would not have a reply, and if I didn't reply, I'd get double text. Does that make sense? This continued, and eventually the friendship just fizzled out. This mirroring behavior was effectively me looking after myself and prioritizing myself, being a little bit selfish, I guess, for myself, because had I carried on living up to my normal expectations of just replying, we'd probably still be friends now and I'd be pouring into a situation that didn't serve me and wasn't giving back. So try the mirroring behavior. It's extremely uncomfortable at first, especially when people are used to you being very in communication with them, but just try it out and it will really open your eyes. The next one is somewhat similar, and it's just to not reply instantly. Just because someone has texted you, it does not mean they have permission to demand a reply instantly. You need to feel comfortable with having your phone on the side and not replying to people. And even if you have seen their message, it doesn't mean they can demand a response from you within seconds. The world we live in now is crazy. Everyone has instant access to each other. Anyone could shoot a message to you at any hour of the day, and you still have to set boundaries with that. It doesn't make you a horrible person. It doesn't mean you're ignoring that person, because that is something people love to say. They love to say, I'm being ignored, I'm being this, I'm being that. How about just realizing everyone has their own lives, everyone has things they're doing, and sometimes we just don't want to chat, and that's nothing on that other person. It's just because sometimes you're busy, you're tired, you need some space to yourself. You are allowed to put your phone down and not reply straight away. A nice thing you can do if it's someone that is used to regular contact with you is just simply communicate that. Just send a quick message or a voice note and just say, you know what, I'm having a little bit of downtime the next few days, I might be a little bit quiet. And people in your life who value you, respect you, should appreciate that. So get comfortable with not replying instantly and setting those boundaries. The next one, again, is something I've done a lot of, and it really doesn't get you anywhere in friendships, and that is going above and beyond at all times. I am very much a problem solver in friendships. I see a situation, I want to help someone. If I have knowledge that I can share, I'll always be there to share it. Well, historically. And you think you're being a lovely person by doing this. Your cup is coming down in terms of the energy you have to give to your own life and your own self. You're giving that to someone else, and there'll be a few people in your life who truly do value that and will at a later date perhaps reciprocate and give you something a little bit back to work with, and that's fine. But there will be energy drainers in your life who drain this. They will never in return give anything back, and the minute you stop doing this, all the good will be forgotten, and they'll probably view you that you've just gone cold, that you're just distant, that you're just selfish now. And that's the whole point. Stop giving too much. Being a good friend is ultimately being there when someone is going through a crisis and they may need your shoulder to cry on or a little bit of advice. Being there in those moments. But you do not need to go above and beyond every single element of every day for everyone around you. They're living their own lives, they're living for themselves, and if you poured a little bit more into yourself that you keep giving away to others, you're going to feel so much happier, more fulfilled, more time and energy to spend on the things that make you truly happy inside, which ultimately makes you a bubblier, happier person to be around when you do see these friends. You need to get better at saying no with confidence. So it's time to embrace the art of saying no when you don't want to do something. Just because someone in your life has an expectation of you that they want you to a certain event, it does not mean you have to go if it doesn't align with you. Again, there's of course caveats. Take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt and apply it to your own life, because of course there's certain instances you should show up even if you don't feel like it. You are allowed to not want to go out drinking anymore. You are allowed to not want to spend loads of money on meals out all the time because you're knuckling down and you're working towards your goals. People around you may find this selfish because you're not living to their expectations anymore, but actually live to your own expectation. Be selfish in these moments. You're allowed to say no, and you're allowed to suggest alternatives of things that you might wish to do. You have to think to yourself in that moment, would you be angry with someone else because they really don't want to do something that you really want to do? No, you'd go and find someone else that aligns with you who's happy to do that activity. So you need to start thinking of everyone around you very much like this. And if they do get triggered and angry because you don't want to do that thing, then again, it's really a reflection on that person, because true friends and people that love you will respect boundaries in your life and will respect the timeline you're on. And sometimes you don't align on things, and that's okay. There'll be times where you have certain friends that you do things with, and then the things you do together will change. And if they're still on the old vibe, that's okay, but they can find someone else to do that with. And your friendship doesn't have to change, just what you do changes. When you really care about people and you value the deep down friendship, that shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be what you're doing and where you're at. It's the friendship that matters. So if these other elements annoy or upset people around you, it's really a reflection on them and just the friendship as a whole. So feel comfortable with saying no, get strong with it. Stop feeling like you have to make excuses, just communicate effectively. A little bit of communication is so key in life, and people are so scared of just saying, actually, I don't want to do that. I've started doing it, guys, and it is so liberating. I hated it at first, I really did. But I've started saying to people, I don't want to do that. I used to pander and make 1,000,001 excuses, and I'm really trying not to do that anymore. You need to make decisions for yourself, and this is all around. This is in terms of how you choose to dress, the things you choose to do, how you eat, anything like that. Make the decisions in your life for yourself and not to please other people. Again, lots of examples I can give you over the years, but when I was much younger, I would have actually felt awkward to wear a certain outfit if I felt the people in my life maybe didn't like that outfit. Another example is the last year, I really haven't traveled that much because I've been really pouring all of my time, energy, money into starting a fashion brand. I have to be completely honest, at the start of that, when friends would ask me, where are you going this year? Have you got anything booked? Because people are so used to you living a certain way, I would actually have embarrassment important. And I'm still working through that. It's very ridiculous, I know, like first world problems for Christ's sake, but it is something I'm working through when people ask you, because everyone has such high expectations in this society of how you live your life. Even when people say, what did you do at the weekend? You always feel the need to have this extravagant answer, and if not, you feel a little bit embarrassed. And you're living for yourself. If you don't want to do anything, you just want to be on the sofa and do F all for the weekend, you're allowed to do that. Stop feeling ashamed for it. It's your life. Why on earth would you live life for others? There is so many people in this world who are just living for the validation of everyone. They are posting online. I'm sorry, but if you're not a content creator and you're not just posting things for your friends and family, you know the people. You've got them people on Facebook, you've got them people on Instagram who are constantly posting their every single move. I get it if you're an aspiring content creator and that's your job, or if you are a content creator, but the people that need to post every single thing they do every minute of the day, I don't think it's healthy. I do feel they're living for the validation of others. Get more selfish, start living for yourself. Find the joy in what you actually want to be doing, not what you feel you should be doing because of what others around you think. Who cares what they think? They don't even care themselves. And this is what's so crazy about the world. We're living in a time where we're so bothered about what other people think of us and how it looks, but actually no one actually cares because they're so consumed in their life. They're scrolling, they're having their dinner, having a flip through Instagram. They may or may not see your post. They don't dwell, they don't care. And if they do, they're really odd and weird anyway. So please stop living for other people and start doing what makes you happy, even if that is not the norm in society in terms of what brings you joy. Just do it anyway. You're living for you. You need to start spoiling yourself, guys, without guilt. You don't need to always be making excuses as to why you want to treat yourself. You are here on this planet right now. You are working hard. If you want to treat yourself to something, just do it. You may have people around you that make you feel like that's a bad decision, or perhaps they don't have the thing that you're treating yourself to, and then it makes you feel uncomfortable. But you don't need to feel guilty, because ultimately if you make someone feel uncomfortable for your actions, that's actually a reflection on themselves, because you're effectively bringing out a feeling in them because they're not happy with their situation. And you shouldn't feel like you have to dull your spark and dull down your accomplishments because of others around you. And if you are doing that, it's really time to start assessing who is around you and how you're spending your time, because you should be around people that are really proud and happy and uplifting, not people that are making you feel like you have to shrink and hide who you truly are and hide what you're doing and hide your progress, because that's just not a way to live. It's just very, you know, it's just not a nice feeling. It's time to start putting your goals and your ambitions first, even if that means stopping helping others all of the time. It's nice to help the people in your life, and that's a good thing to do. And certainly I'm not saying to just stop doing that entirely, but if you are someone that's always showing up for other people, it's time to start showing up for yourself. You don't want to necessarily be viewed as that go-to friend who will help everyone with everything, because that is just a reflection that you're not helping yourself. If there is something you want to work on, if that's a side hustle, if that's a hobby, if that's a project, start saying yes to yourself and start saying no to other people. I've been asked before some quite ridiculous requests from friends in terms of wanting help with things or traveling a certain distance to do certain things for them. I've learned to just say no, as uncomfortable as that is. You don't have the time in the day to help and please everyone, and there should be someone else in their life who is able to help them. And if there's not, there's endless information out there on the internet. There's professional services for a lot of things. You don't have to always be that person. If it's a case of emotional support, of course you're a phone call away, you're a nice voice note away, a text away. You can be there for someone and give them that emotional support without needing to pander to their every little requirement every minute of every day. You can send them a nice message in the morning like, I'm thinking of you, I know you're going through XYZ, I'm really busy with work, but you know, let's check in tomorrow, maybe go for coffee, something like that. And that is kind of tying back to the boundaries and setting expectations with people. And that's really, really important. You also need to start spending time with people who uplift you. And I know I just touched upon that recently, but it's so, so true. If you're finding yourself feeling really drained and just lifeless after spending time with certain people, it's time to assess, are they adding and charging your battery, or are they draining it? it to absolutely nothing, because if they are, it's just not good enough. There's gonna be times in people's lives where they may be a bit of a drain because they're going through something, but I also find if you truly have a good connection with someone and as a person they're not an actual drain, it's just their situation, I feel there's somewhat of a protection you have with them where I can sit for hours and hours and hours and talk about problems with my friends because I know that they're not a negative person. I know that they're not a drain on me. They're just going through something. So talking about their problem doesn't drain me 1 ounce. You know the difference between that and someone that actually drains you. And if you're finding they are just draining upon draining, be selfish. You're allowed to stop putting energy into that all the time, because what is it adding to your life? It's not a case of you have to give to receive, like I said earlier, but also the connections we have in our life do form who we are. We are what we surround ourselves with, and you are allowed to sever or just loosen connections with people who are not actually adding any value at all, because we can't be everyone's friend. Also, a very uncomfortable one, and I'm really bad at this one, but you need to stop over apologizing for things. If you're putting yourself first and doing something that's going to make you truly happy, why are you saying sorry for it? If you want to block out the next 2 weeks in your diary and do something for yourself, you don't need to be so apologetic. You just need to set boundaries and tell people this is what I'm doing. And if they don't like it, they can get stuffed. Putting it politely, you know, like, honestly, again, I've had to have these conversations in the past. Too much pressure is put on certain days and seeing people, and it's just too much. Sometimes you have to push them back a little bit and just say, no, this is what I'm doing, and you don't have to feel sorry for it. If they need more fulfillment in their life sociably, they need to go and find other connections that can fulfill those needs, because you can't be that go-to person all the time. Self-care needs to be absolutely non-negotiable. Spending an evening to yourself, doing your face mask, relaxing, fake tanning, whatever that looks like for you, needs to happen. If you've got a partner and you spend most of your time with them, you're on the sofa, going about your day with them, that's lovely, but you need time to just be like, nope, I'm spending tonight by myself, I want to do this for me. And you're allowed that time. Even if you're a parent, you have children, maybe make self-care time for each other. There could be a night of the week where your partner has the children and you get an evening off, and vice versa. Be kind and supportive to one another. But just because you're a parent, a friend, a sister, a mum, an auntie, whatever you are in someone's life, it doesn't mean that it's entirely on you all of the time. And again, caveat, I appreciate this is difficult if, for example, you're a single parent, I get that. I'm talking more in a general situation of you are allowed a little bit of self-care time, and you really shouldn't feel guilty for that, because you're adding back into your own cup and then you're going to give much more to other people as a result. So recharging yourself actually really benefits everyone else. It's actually not that selfish. And then we're going to finish on a really nice one, which is just scheduling lazy days. And you don't need to have that guilt feeling that you're not being productive, that you're not working hard enough, that you're not getting back to people. Perhaps a Sunday if that works best for you, but you need a day where you just think, you know what, my phone is down, I'm not reachable. Today is my no internet day. Back in the day, people had to wait for you to phone, for you to knock, for you to write a letter. I'm sure people can wait 24 hours for a response, okay? Again, communicate with the people close to you. You don't want to give someone a fear and a shock that you just dropped off the side of the earth. Like, we need to communicate. Now, I've got friends where if I don't message them for a day, it will be a problem, and not in the sense of them being annoyed, they'd be seriously concerned, because we are in regular contact. Communicate. I'm having a day off today from my phone. Speak to you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. That's it. And then you have that day to yourself. Don't be productive. Don't go on your work emails. Don't do anything. Just do what the hell you want to do that day. If you want to cook a nice meal, bake a cake, watch films all day, whatever that looks like for you, just have a completely selfish day and just do what you want. So I hope, guys, that helped. Like I say, I am a recovering people pleaser, very much still recovering from it, because I have been a people pleaser my entire life, and it just really doesn't get you anywhere. I've honestly learned that, like the amount I've actually given over the years, a lot of the time I'm not even friends with them people anymore, so it was actually kind of like pointless when you think about it. So just please stop being a people pleaser, start living for yourself, and ultimately boundaries, and the people that love you and you love them and your connection is real long term, it will work out. and you can find lovely things to do together that make you both happy and fill both your cups. And that is a transitional period I'm going through with my friends. We're all at different stages. You know, some people want to drink more, some people don't. And naturally, we're kind of finding a new norm in terms of what we want to do together. If that's going for a spa day, if that's going for a nice dinner on a weekday instead of a weekend, because maybe I want to be at home at the weekend, you know. We're learning the new norm for our friendships, and it's actually really refreshing because I feel that my close friends are on this journey with me, and we're all changing, we're all at different stages, but ultimately we all still manage to keep our friendships really healthy by implementing these things. No one gets annoyed at each other if we don't text. We all know we all work hard and we're busy, and we know if one of us needs the other one, we will be there if we can be. And I think that's what true friendship is. So I really hope you found something from this video that you will find helpful to take away with you. And yeah, I'm really enjoying filming these like motivational videos. So I hope you enjoy, guys, and I will see you really soon. Mwah. Bye.